Oh man, round 3 against this team. Bring it on. The St. Louis Dragons will be traveling to Santa Clara. The 49ers will be our opponent here for the wild card round as we play in our very first playoff game of the series. We have been spending the last 3 seasons getting this team in position to potentially make a playoff run, and here we are. We've made it to the dance, but we're not satisfied. We're looking for more. We've got the 49ers, who won the NFC West this year, on the schedule in Santa Clara for the divisional round. This is what the standings look like as a whole in both conferences. The AFC had 4 13-win teams, with the Kansas City Chiefs taking the number 1 seed. In the NFC, Atlanta gets a first-round bye. The Niners squeak out the NFC West win over the Rams, and the Niners will get the honor of playing against us in the first round as we officially clinched a spot in the wild card round in the last episode, beating the Indianapolis Colts 28-20. It's been a very up and down season for our St. Louis Dragons, a team that has lacked consistency on a week-to-week basis on both sides of the ball, but it's been a really fun season, and I think the team has peaked at the right time. We've won 3 straight games to end the year, and ever since the bye week, we've beaten some really tough opponents. We beat the Rams twice. We split against the 49ers. We've beaten this team already this year. Before we get started, I do very briefly want to go over our studs and duds of the year. You guys voted at the end of the last episode to determine which players deserved to go up for their performances this season or go down for their poor performances throughout the year. I have tallied up the votes and I have figured out the order of the winners and the losers. For the stud of the year, we had 2 very close finishers, with Jameson Williams and Royal Osuchua only split up by around 8% of the vote. Ultimately, the winner of the stud of the year ends up going to wide receiver Jameson Williams, who got a little bit over 50% of the votes. I personally believe that Royal Osuchua should have won it. It's an expectations-based award, and we did not expect anything out of Osuchua this year. But I understand why Jameson Williams was picked, and I completely get it. He had a great season for us. He really improved on the issues of why the Lions gave up on him, and that's that he was a very reliable and consistent player for us. With the exception of Week 3 against New Orleans, which is the game that Puma Whitlock was not healthy, he was productive pretty much every week of the year, minus last week because he was injured. But he had 15 good games this year. He played like a number 1 receiver for a large chunk of the year, and I think potentially has earned a contract extension with him being a free agent at the end of the year. His rating will go up by 3, and he now has superstar development. So a big boost for Jameson Williams. Royal Osuchua gets second place. He will go up by 2. Royal Osuchua was drafted in the 6th round this year as a developmental offensive lineman who was probably going to be a career backup, maybe would get an opportunity to start, but he was thrusted in there right away. Minutes into the first game of the year, and he played really well, only allowing 3 sacks and 800 snaps. He played a lot of tackle and guard. Wherever we needed him to play, he did it at a very high level. He's missed the last 3 weeks, but he is back healthy for the playoffs. Jordan Whitehead is our 3rd place finisher. I agree that of the 3 stud of the year nominees, he probably did deserve to finish in last, but he was really good this year. He will go up by 1. He is now an 84 overall, and he's definitely made himself some money with this being the last year of his contract. As for our dud of the year, again, it was pretty close between Michael Gallup and Tyron Smith, but ultimately Michael Gallup ended up being the loser. I understand why Gallup was picked, because coming into the season, he was pretty much our wide receiver 1, and everybody passed him. J-Mo, Keon, Weaver, and Modelo all passed him up. He is our wide receiver 5 now. Gallup really hasn't been all that productive over the last 2 seasons, albeit last year he missed over half the year, but he was buried by 4 players on the depth chart this year and has essentially become a non-factor over the second half of the year, with 3 catches in the last 6 or 7 weeks. So his ratings will go down by 3, and he will go down to normal development, which for somebody who's pushing 30 probably isn't that big of a deal, whereas I think the loss of ratings is probably the bigger impact for him going forward. Tyron Smith gets second place. I thought that Tyron Smith probably should have been the overall loser. I guess that's what happens when you sign somebody with 67 injury, because he wasn't consistently on the field. And when he was, he didn't play all that well. He allowed more sacks than he did last year, despite playing half the snaps. And if you look at his snaps per game against Seattle, hurt on the first drive, misses multiple weeks. 1 week after coming back, gets hurt, out for multiple weeks. Gets hurt halfway through the Bears game, gets hurt halfway through the Steelers game, gets hurt on the first play against the Niners. After that, he stayed healthy over the last 6 games. But he hasn't played well over that 6-game stretch, which is kind of weird, because even when he was getting injured pretty consistently, he was playing pretty well. So throughout the entire year, he was either getting hurt all the time or not playing well. We signed him to be the anchor of our offensive line, and he definitely was not that. So his ratings will go down by 2, and then Eric Stokes will go down by only 1. Similarly with Michael Gallup, Stokes just got passed up by younger players such as Cam Lucifer and DeMore Diggins. Stokes got off to a great start this year, an interception early in week 1 against Seattle, but after that, he just didn't do all that much. He was very average in coverage. I wouldn't say he was noticeably poor, but there weren't really many other players who really disappointed me this year, which is why I ultimately picked him for the final spot. His ratings will go down by 1. He's now a 79 overall. So with that, let's now take a look at this matchup here against the 12-5 San Francisco 49ers, the number 2 seed in the NFC. This team has consistently made the playoffs really over the last 7 or 8 years. They just have not been able to get over the hump. Can this be the year that this 49er core finally finishes off the job, and they're facing off against a team such as us who has not ever made the playoffs? As we take a look at the Niners this year, they obviously won 12 games. They won an ultra-competitive division where everybody was good. All 4 teams in the NFC West finished over 500. We played against the Niners twice pretty late into the season, splitting those 2 matchups. Our first meeting was in Week 12 in San Francisco, and we embarrassed them. 34-10, utter annihilation. The score tells you all you need to know. We dominated this game, and we had not beaten the Niners ever in our team history until that game. We played again against them 3 weeks later, losing 38-28 at home. And I feel like these 2 games kind of show the inconsistency of our team, especially on defense. One game we allow 10 points, the next game we allow 38 points. Which version of the Dragons defense are we going to get today? I assume the offense is going to score a decent amount of points, but will we be able to stop these dynamic playmakers? Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle are arguably the best players at their position in the NFL. Deebo Samuel just won the Offensive Player of the Year. And Brock Purdy has become one of the more stable and consistent quarterbacks in the league, earning a massive contract extension. Deebo's the real name to watch, though. He caught 25 touchdowns this year, which is an NFL record, beating 2007 Randy Moss, en route to winning the Offensive Player of the Year. Defensively, they are loaded as well. Nick Bosa might be the best pass rusher in the NFL. Fred Warner might be the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. Kevin Byard and Talanoa Hufanga is an elite safety duo, and they have great complementary pieces as well, such as guys like Diamador Lenore and Javon Hargrave. So here we go, Super Wild Card Weekend in Santa Clara. The 3rd meeting over the last 7 weeks between division rivals, the San Francisco 49ers and the St. Louis Dragons. Coming off a 10-7 regular season, the Dragons are peaking at the right time with a lot of big divisional wins over the last month and a half of the year, including dominating the Niners in this building 38-10 not too long ago. The Dragons have won 3 in a row, their longest win streak in team history, and they will look to add to that today here in the playoffs in this core's first playoff game together. A lot of these young guys have played in big games before. Obviously, Puma Whitlock has played in many college football playoff games, but the NFL playoffs is a different beast. It's a different animal when you have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner chasing after you on the road, so I'm curious to see how this young team responds to the playoff environment. Cameron Dicker, the kicker, has this ball teed off, and the 2026 wildcard round is underway. This one will be caught in the end zone. It'll go for a touchback. And let's take a look at Brock Purdy and the San Francisco offense, who will start with the ball. The Niners have been very consistently good over the Kyle Shanahan era, whether it's been Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback or Brock Purdy. The one issue is that this team hasn't been able to get over the hump. With a wide-open NFC, could this be the year that the Niners get it done? Purdy starts empty here on 1st and 10 to open up the game, drops back to throw it, has Deebo Samuel open, and the Offensive Player of the Year is off to a quick start as he gets 22 yards. Deebo Samuel's had a historic season. I would imagine the Niners will look to get him the ball a lot. Here's McCaffrey on 1st down, smothered in the backfield for a loss of a yard. Eric Stokes and Damone Clark are there to bring him down. That'll make it a 3rd and 5 now for San Francisco. It looks like it's a screen. And the Dragons read the play perfectly. It's jarred out of McCaffrey's hands by Trajan Blyshenden, who's played really well over the last month or so, stepping up with the injuries to Simeon Bonnet and Khalil Mack, the latter of whom is healthy today. 53-yard field goal for Jake Moody is good, and the Niners start the wild card round with a field goal. They lead it 3-0. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Dragons offense featuring quarterback Puma Whitlock in his first NFL playoff game, but he's played in these big postseason environments before. In his 3 seasons as a starter with the Ohio State Buckeyes, he made it to the playoff all 3 times, winning a national championship as a sophomore and a junior, and nearly winning another one as a senior. He knows how to perform in these big games, winning 2 college football playoff MVPs. Here's Darwin Juskins up the middle for a 1st down. He gains around 9. Juskins played a really good game last week against the Colts. Him and Swift are really becoming a nice tandem together in this backfield. 2nd and 10. Puma looks short. It's Tykeem Keon Jr. up the middle, who gets it to the 48. Keon's been pretty inconsistent over the last few weeks. He played really well in Week 17 against Carolina, but over the last month or so, I feel like he's been a little bit shaky. Hopefully he performs well today. On 3rd and 6, Puma's pass is incomplete for Likely, broken up by the rookie linebacker Kitty Waters. Nobody was open there. Great coverage by San Francisco, and the Dragons' inaugural playoff drive will end off with a punt. Presley Harthan III will look to boot the Niners back deep, and that he will do. What a punt! Down at the 5. The Niners are going to start near their own end zone. They have to be very cautious about how they move the football to start this drive. 1st and 10 from the 5. Purdy drops back under pressure. He is sacked in the end zone. 2 hands for safety. Javon Kinlaw, the former 49er, is there to make the play. Who would have thought the very first playoff points in Dragons history is a safety by Javon Kinlaw? I don't think we've ever gotten a safety in our 51-game history, but now we do 5 minutes into our first playoff game. Tornado Davis is going to let the punt roll out of bounds. A smart heads-up play by the rookie because the Dragons will now get the ball at the 50-yard line. Smart play by Tornado Davis to recognize that ball was taking a one-way trip to the sideline. So the Dragons get it with good field position, only down by 1. Short throw is caught by the rookie, Arturo Modelo, who brings it to the 30-yard line. Nice throw there by Puma to the sticks, and a good grab by the rookie Modelo, who has been outstanding over the last 6 weeks. 2nd and 9. Puma's going to take a shot downfield. It's caught for a touchdown! It's Modelo time! Arturo Modelo with the score. And the Dragons lead it for now 8-3. So that was a busted coverage from San Francisco. Kevin Byard was supposed to cover that area of the field, and the play must have went rogue. And Puma Whitlock notices this, and he takes advantage. He takes the deep shot, and the rookie Modelo comes down with it. The Dragons are just going to take the extra point. They now lead 9-3. Niners back with it. Purdy, with no time to throw it, is sacked. B.J. Ojulari brings him down for a loss of 10. Since being acquired at the deadline, Ojulari has been a phenomenal addition to the team. He has played really well, especially down the stretch. 2nd and 20, screen for McCaffrey. He is lit up by Damone Clark. The Niners' play calling has been very conservative today. Other than the first play of the game where they went deep to Deebo, they haven't tried to go downfield at all, which I think is a big mistake. 3rd and 19, Purdy under more pressure, and he has to throw it away. Ojulari and Mack both in the backfield sending pressure, and things are quickly trending downhill for the 49ers. Ever since allowing the safety, the Dragons have looked dominant on both sides of the ball, and they had the chance to make it a 2-score game here on this possession. 3rd and 1, it's DeAndre Swift. Bounces off a blocker, and he does get the first down. Swift ran over these guys in the first meeting between these two teams. We're off to a slow start today, but that was a good run. 3rd and 10 now from the 45. Puma looks to throw it under pressure, rolls out to the right. He's got room, and plenty of it. 1st and more for Puma with blocks. Breaks the tackle for Mufanga, and he's in for a touchdown. What a run by Puma Whitlock. Off structure with a huge play, and it's now 16-3. Niners all of a sudden trail by 13 points. They've got to answer quick, or else this could get ugly. 2nd and 3, there's a first down finally. Yami Oosterswan comes down with it, and that'll wrap up the first quarter. What a start for the Dragons with an early safety by Javon Kinlaw, followed by 2 long touchdowns, one from Arturo Modelo, one on the ground from Puma Whitlock. They lead 16-3, looking to keep their hot start going. 3rd and 3, big play for San Francisco. It's a run with McCaffrey, bounces off a blocker, and he does get the first down. Big run for McCaffrey. The Niners needed to get another first down there really badly. They've got to get the offense moving. They've got to get some points again because their play calling's been very unexciting. McCaffrey loses a yard. Damone Clark brings him down. Ever since Owen Popo got hurt last week, Damone Clark has been playing really, really well, stepping up with the injury. 3rd and 9, Purdy under pressure, rolls out. He's going to run with it, and he does not get the first down. Big hit by Demore Diggins as Javon Kinlaw is hurt. In the least surprising development of the day, not only is Javon Kinlaw hurt, but on the big touchdown run, Tyron Smith got hurt. Tyron Smith is going to be out for the game with a sprained ACL, while Kinlaw should be fine. The Niners will punt the ball on 4th and inches, and it's not even really that good of a punt. If you're going to make a weak call like that, you better pin the opposing team deep. And the Niners are unable to do that. So now the Dragons get it back with another opportunity to add to the lead. 3rd and 1. Swift is going backwards. Big stop by the Niners. It's Harold Hicks Jr., the rookie out of Toledo, who brings him down. And the Niners finally have something go their way. The Dragons are going to punt the ball, and San Francisco will get it back, hoping to potentially get some points. Presley Harvin pinned him back deep at the 5 earlier today, and he is going to do it again. Down at the 5 once more. What a punt! And good punt coverage by Eric Stokes. We'll see if the Niners have learned their lesson after the safety back in the first quarter. On 1st and 10, it's going to be a play action. Purdy looks to throw it. He goes short for McCaffrey, who stumbles backwards, and he's tackled at the 1-yard line by Ojulari. They are awfully lucky that was not another safety. Very odd play call there. 2nd and 14, backed up at the 1. It's McCaffrey tackled in the end zone. Another safety. DeJuan Overton brings him down. And the Dragons, who as far as I'm aware have never gotten a safety in their team's history, have 2 here in the first half of their first playoff game, and it's now 18-3. 2nd and 6, Puma fires to the sideline. It's incomplete for Isaiah Likely. The Dragons don't seem to think he was incomplete. They're going to throw the challenge flag. Not often has Scotty Piggins used the challenge flag in this series, but it's a playoff game, and he's going to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's a really close call. I kind of feel like he got the feed in, but it might be too close to overturn, and that ends up being the case. The call in the field stands, and the Dragons are going to lose their timeout. 3rd and 6 after the failed challenge. Puma looks to throw it, rolls out to the right, under pressure, and he's going to have to throw it away. Puma's only completed 50% of his passes today. He hasn't been all that efficient throwing the ball. The Dragons have really relied on those 2 big touchdowns. Other than that, their offense really has not been all that spectacular today. It doesn't matter because the defense is holding down the fort in a major way. Our defense has more points than their offense. Purdy, under pressure, goes downfield for Deebo Samuel. Finally, a downfield shot, and it goes for a big gain. That still wasn't really a great play, though, by the Niners. Purdy threw that ball late, and he underthrew it. Deebo had to run back to it, which he does. Purdy should have got that ball out quicker. I feel like Brock Purdy's playing scared, added on by the conservative play calling, and that's just a recipe for disaster. Here's McCaffrey to the right side. Jukes away from a defender, gets a first down. And now the Niners offense appears to be in business. Couple of big first downs by Debo and McCaffrey. Can this be the drive that they bring themselves back into the game? 2nd and 4 for San Francisco. Possibly the final play before the 2-minute warning. McCaffrey up the middle with another nice first down. He brings it to the 37 for a gain of 9. The Niners are having their best drive of the game so far. 3 pretty solid first downs, but they've got to be able to actually punch it in the end zone. The Dragons' defense has been phenomenal all day. Can they keep it going here before the end of the half? Back to McCaffrey, another nice hole. Jukes away from Savage and gets another first down. McCaffrey started slow, but he's got 3 consecutive big runs to really make the offense get going. On first down, Purdy's under pressure. He's sacked. Khalil Mack, the sack attack, and the red, white, and black, along with B.J. Ojulari, are there to bring him down. The team's 3rd sack of the day. The Dragons' pass rush has been really inconsistent, but over the last 3 weeks, they're playing their best ball. 3rd and 10, Purdy has to throw it away under more pressure. You'd think without Simeon Bonnet, the pass rush would be taking a hit, but B.J. Ojulari has anchored the storm, and everybody else has played to their role. The Niners are going to have to kick a field goal, and thus it will remain a 2-score game, as the kick is good for Jake Moody, and it's now 18-6. So the Dragons are in a really interesting spot because they get a 2-for-1 right here. The Dragons get the ball now, and then they get the ball to start the second half. There is no reason for it not to be a 3-score game the next time the Niners get the ball for an actual drive. On first down, Puma fires up the middle for Griffin Weaver, who makes a great catch. As the Dragons call their second timeout, they still have one more in their back pocket. 42 seconds left. Puma rolls out to the right side under pressure, looking to run with it, and he's out of bounds after a gain of 8. Solid run for Puma, and most importantly, he stops the clock. 2nd and 2. Puma looking to call an audible, potentially changing the play call here, as it's going to be a pass. He's under a little pressure, looks for the sidelines. It's Tykeem Keon Jr. with a first down, out of bounds at the 33. Again, stopping the clock. The Dragons managing the clock very well so far on this drive. Puma under a lot of pressure from Bosa and company. He's going to have to throw it away, and he does successfully, not taking the sack. 2nd and 10 now from the 33. 27 to go in the half. Puma looks to throw it. Under more pressure. Looking downfield. It's broken up. Modelo, the intended target, but he's unable to hold on to it. And that'll make it a 3rd and 10 now with just 22 seconds left on the clock. Puma looks to throw it. Looking for the sidelines. It is broken up. Tykeem Keon Jr., the intended target. The rookie out of Duke, Jalen Fox, got a hand on it. The Dragons are going to have to settle for a field goal. This one's not a gimme. 50-yarder for Cameron Dicker. It's up, and it is good. So Dicker splits the uprights, and it's 21-6 going into halftime. The Dragons having 21 points seems pretty normal. You'd think they scored 3 touchdowns, right? Well, not exactly. We have 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and 2 safeties. On both sides of the ball, the Dragons are playing really well, and we start with the ball in the second half. We're in a good spot, but we can't let the pedal off the metal just yet. The other 2 NFC playoff games have already concluded with the 2 higher seeds getting the win. The Cowboys beat the Eagles, while the Vikings upset the lower-seeded wild-card Los Angeles Rams. So that means if the Niners win, they will play against Dallas, and if we win, well, we would play against the number 1 seeded Falcons no matter what. We're playing really well on both sides of the ball right now. Puma Whitlock's been a little bit inefficient. He's completed less than 50% of his passes. He's 9 of 19, but he's made some big plays. And then defensively, we have looked awesome. I will say, I think we need to get back to the basics throwing the ball. Puma's been really aggressive today, which it's a playoff game. I think you need to be aggressive, but I think I also want to get the short game going. And then defensively, the Niners haven't even tried to throw the ball in the intermediate area of the field, which is just coaching malpractice. Over the last 2 weeks, Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson have had basically a perfect passer rating, throwing it to that area of the field against our defense. So why are the Niners not doing it? I don't know. The Dragons open up with the ball here in the third quarter, looking to add to their lead and put themselves in a good spot to close this game out in the fourth quarter. On first down, Swift stuffed in the backfield by Drake Jackson. Swift has had a rough day. 9 carries for 11 yards. Don't tell Sean McDermott. 2nd and 13 now for the Dragons. It's going to be a play action. Puma rolls out to the right side under pressure, looks downfield. It's caught by Jameson Williams, who drags the feet in bounds to the 39-yard line. Big play for J-Mo, who of course now has superstar development. Following play with Puma in the zone under pressure, he fires for Tykeem Keon Jr., who gets the first down, wrapped up by Talanoa Hufanga, but not before bringing it to the 27. The offense is looking really good so far on this drive. Let's keep it going. Following play, Puma's going to run with it, with room up the middle, slides into the red zone to the 16-yard line. He gains 11. The offense is having a really solid drive here, getting consistent chunk plays. Let's see if they can keep it moving. Puma lobs it up for the end zone. It's broken up. That's a bad play by Puma Whitlock. Isaiah Likely had like a 4-second stretch where he was wide open, but the pass came in way too late. 2nd and 10, Puma looks short for Modelo, who's lit up by Fred Warner, and Modelo's hurt. He broke his hand. That's a big deal. Modelo's obviously a key part of this offense. He'll be out for the rest of the game and possibly longer if the Dragons hold on to win. Puma's got a rushing lane, and he does not get the first down. Fred Warner's there to stop him along with Lowry. The Dragons could go for it because they're super close to the end zone and it's 4th and 2, but I feel like that'd be a pretty bad call. Take the points, make it a 3-score deficit as Cameron Dicker makes the kick, and it's 24-6. Niners back with it, 3rd and 11. They've got to get it moving here and maybe not run screens. It's caught by McCaffrey, nearly intercepted by White. McCaffrey jukes the defender and gets the first down. How did they convert that? I have no idea how that play worked. That should have been an interception by Devin White, but McCaffrey runs by him, jukes away from a defender. What a play by CMC. The Niners have to take advantage of that big play. 3rd and 3, short throw for Deebo Samuel. He's open. He gets the first down, pushed out of bounds by Diggins at the 35. They got to keep getting the ball into McCaffrey and Deebo's hands. Deebo in particular, I feel like they haven't looked his way enough. 2nd and 10, play action. Purdy under pressure, flag on the field. Purdy looks to run with it, and he slides inside the 10 to the 9, but this one is coming back. It's going to be a holding call against the 49ers, called on the guard, Spencer Burford. Instead of the first down in the red zone, they're backed up at the 31, and it's now 3rd and 18, and they're running another screen. McCaffrey cannot catch it as it's popped out by Trajan Blyshenden. Find someone who loves you like the Niners love running 3rd down and long screens. I don't get the play calling at all. They've got to look downfield because that's where the Dragons defense struggles the most. Kick is good for Jake Moody. It's 24-9, so at least they scored some points, I guess. But realistically, they need more than field goals right now. The Dragons are still in a very good spot, up by 15 with the ball. Here's Swift, finds a hole. DeAndre Swift down the field, his longest run of the year. Jukes by Hufanga and brings it to the 29. Swift nearly gains 50 yards on that play. It's taken him a little while to wake up today, but now DeAndre Swift has awoken. The Dragons lead it 24-9 here at the conclusion of the 3rd quarter, and they've got the ball with really good field position, trying to finish this game off for good and punch their ticket to Atlanta for the 2nd round of the playoffs. On 1st and 10, Puma on the run. Tough throw. Good play by Jameson Williams to flip his body and come down with it, bringing it inside the red zone of the 12. 1st and 10, 9.5 to go. It's a handoff for Swift, and he is going backwards. Fred Warner brings him down. Warner's been all over the field, per usual. I can't really say that about most of the other players on this team, but he's done his job. 3rd and 12 now. Puma's going to scramble to the left this time, under pressure, looking for the end zone. It's intercepted. Diamador Lenore picks it off. Sko Ducks. And the Niners force a turnover and have a chance to get some momentum back. Again, I feel like Puma Whitlock threw the ball too late there. It looked like Griffin Weaver had some space, and I feel like Weaver could have made a better play on the ball, but Puma Whitlock has got to throw that pass earlier as Diamador Lenore takes advantage and gets the first turnover of the day. The Niners have to capitalize. They're down by 15 points. It's now or never, right? The offense has got to wake up at some point. Purdy on 1st down, fires to McCaffrey on the wheel route, and he is lit up wheelie hard. You get it? By Jordan Whitehead, as DeJuan Overton is banged up on the play. The injury bug has not been kind today for the Dragons. 3rd and 10. Purdy is sacked. Trajan Blygenden's had a really good game today, and now he adds a sack to the repertoire. That'll make it a 4th and 18. I think you can make the argument for the Niners to go for it because, what do they have to lose at this point? But they will ultimately decide to punt it instead. Tornado Davis, the rookie on the return, looks to outrun a couple players. Good return out to the 38-yard line. And the Dragons now get it back, looking to make it a 3-score game and pretty much put the icing on top of what's been a really good performance. On first down, here's Puma Whitlock under pressure. He is sacked for the first time today. It's Javon Hargrave who brings him down, forcing a loss of 10. Puma's done a good job avoiding sacks in this game until that play. 2nd and 20. Puma's under a ton of pressure. He's going to go short for Jamison Williams, who gets nothing. Hit hard at the original line of scrimmage by Fred Warner. Puma was able to extend that play, but he couldn't find anybody open. Good coverage by the Niners. 3rd and 20 now, empty backfield. Puma looks to throw it. Rolls out to the right side under pressure, and he cannot get rid of it. Harold Hicks Jr., Toledo's finest, brings him down. 2 sacks on this drive for the Niners after not getting any for the first 3+ quarters. San Francisco gets it back. Can this be the drive where they finally score a touchdown? Nice throw into the hands of the rookie, Jumani Kaur, who brings it past the 50 to the 47. 5 minutes to go. Clock is ticking. San Francisco's got to pick up the pace. Again, it's now or never. Here's Purdy looking to go downfield. It's caught by Kaur again, who brings it to the 26-yard line. Jumani Kaur really hasn't gotten the ball a whole lot until this drive. Maybe they should have thought to give him the ball more. Here's McCaffrey on first down. Jukes away from a defender, but still is going backwards. Jeff Okudah and Khalil Mack are there to bring him down for a loss of yards. Christian McCaffrey's had a really good game. I feel like the numbers don't tell the story. It's just that the Niners' offensive line has been a train wreck today. The Dragons are absolutely winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 11. Purdy is sacked again. Joseph Osai brings him down as the Niners go no huddle, looking to go for it on 4th and 20. And the Dragons are going to call a timeout. They did not expect the no huddle. They're going to call a timeout, try to regroup, make sure they get this play call right, rather than try to audible something at the last minute, risking a broken coverage. So here we go, 4th and 20, possibly for the ball game. Purdy looks to evade the pressure, still on his feet. Purdy looks for the end zone. It is broken up by Okudah, looking for Jumani Kaur in double coverage as we have a flag. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Purdy was beyond the line of scrimmage as he threw the ball. The Dragons are going to get a little extra yardage, but most importantly, they will get possession of the football back, looking to chew some clock and end this game for good and punch their ticket to Atlanta. Here's Swift on first down, breaking tackles. He gets around 5. The Niners are not calling their timeouts yet, so the Dragons are going to let this clock roll for pretty much as long as possible. 2nd and 5, it's Juskins with the ball now, breaks a tackle, and he gets the first down. Good run by Darwin Juskins. And now the Dragons are going to continue to let this clock roll. Final play before the 2-minute warning. Since the play clock and the game clock are so close together, they're going to throw the ball. Play action, short throw for Likely with blockers, gets the first down. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Now from the 35-yard line, Puma hands it off to Swift. Look at 62. Ed Ingram mauling dudes in the run game as Swift gets 7. A first down basically ends the game for good. 2nd and 3. Read option. Puma Whitlock with a first down as he will bring it to around the 20. Another first down officially ends it once and for all. It's Swift up the middle. He gets around 3. The Niners call their 3rd and final timeout. 2nd and 7. It's going to be an RPO. Screen for Keon with blocks, and he gets 6. Diamador Lenore is hurt on the play for the Niners, and that'll actually stop the clock, and they're out of timeout, so they don't even have to use one. 3rd and 1 now. Game on the line. First down ends it. Puma looks to throw it. It's caught for a first down by the big man. Morgan Moses is the one to finish off the game. Who would have thought? The game-clinching first down is by Morgan Moses, the offensive tackle. Puma Whitlock is going to be able to kneel out the clock, and this game is over. One more kneel down for good measure should do it. The best formation is victory formation. One final kneel down from Puma Whitlock, and the St. Louis Dragons have done it. They have upset their division rivals, the San Francisco 49ers, on the road by a final score of 24-9. We are moving on to the second round of the playoffs with a date in Atlanta against the top-seeded Falcons for a spot in the NFC Championship on the line. For a team who's never made the playoffs before, this is a pretty good opening ceremony, I've got to say. This game was not pretty at all. It was actually very ugly, but you know what? A win's a win, especially a playoff win on the road. This was about the defense. We let up barely 200 yards of offense and no touchdowns. The offense was very on and off. We had the two big touchdowns in the first quarter, but after the first, neither team found the end zone again. We only scored 8 points after the first, and the Niners only scored 6. In the second half, both teams only had a pair of field goals, and that's it. There was basically no offense after the first quarter, but it didn't matter because we won the field position battle early, we got some big plays, and the defense stood tough the entire way. Puma Whitlock was honestly not all that impressive. He had some pretty bad throws, he wasn't all that efficient, and it did not matter. Brock Purdy was also very unimpressive. I feel like he didn't play his game. He didn't look confident out there. The play calling was bad. It was just a recipe for disaster. Christian McCaffrey only had 3.2 yards a carry, but don't get it twisted. He played well. The run blocking was just bad. DeAndre Swift's numbers are better, although he really relied on one big run. Puma Whitlock had some good plays on the ground as well. Overall, the run game for us was fine. We held Deebo Samuel in check, 7 catches for 61 yards. As for us, it looked like Arturo Modelo was going to be the standout until he got hurt, breaking his hand. I think the reason why we won this game, though, was up front, dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, especially defensively. The emergence of B.J. Ojulari has been huge. He was the best player on the field today, 3 TFLs and a sack and a half. Sometimes a change of scenery is all a player needs to really succeed. He was not the only pass rusher who played well, though. We had a number of other guys make plays. DeJuan Overton had a safety. So did Javon Kinlaw. I don't know why Kinlaw's name didn't show up there. And shout out to Presley Harvin. 3 punts inside the 20. The reason why we were able to get out to an early lead is because we won the field position battle. And his 2 punts that were downed inside the 5 both led to safeties. There are definitely some things we need to clean up, but a win's a win. Even though Puma Whitlock didn't play all that well, the fact that we still won by multiple scores really tells you the talent we have on this team, especially defensively. We do have a couple new injuries. Damone Clark tore his labrum. He will be out until the Super Bowl if we were able to make it. And this stinks because he's played really well over the last couple of weeks since Owen Popo got injured. Clark just seems to be an injury-prone guy. He missed 4 games over the first 2 seasons of the series. And the divisional round matchup against Atlanta will be the 9th game that he's missed this year. Arturo Modelo broke his hand. He is out for the year. So his rookie year is done. A very good rookie year at that. And we are really going to miss him. Once he got hurt today, the offense was not the same. So we're going to put Modelo on IR next week, and we're presumably going to sign a veteran receiver to replace him on the roster. We only have 4 healthy wide receivers right now. We're going to need another one. And I wouldn't mind adding an older player here who's been around the block, who's potentially looking to chase for a ring. Some intriguing names here include Devontae Parker, Allen Robinson, Jarvis Landry. Do you guys remember when he was on the Dragons last year? He has familiarity with the system, so he could work, although he's only a 70 overall. And there are some other options in here. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Josh Reynolds. Obviously not household names, but veterans who could give us some solid depth the rest of the way. Let's simulate into the next round of the playoffs. There's no suspense this time. We know who we're going against. We're the lowest seed in the NFC, so obviously we have to play the highest seeded team, and that is the Atlanta Falcons at their place, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As we take a look at the other scores around the league, we know that Dallas beat the Eagles. We know that Minnesota beat the Rams. The Jaguars beat the Dolphins by 1 in a shootout. And then for the 3 Sunday games, the Bengals beat the Steelers in a really close matchup in Cincinnati. Obviously, we beat the Niners. And then the night game ended up going to the Bills, who beat the Ravens. Some interesting trends I noticed here. For one thing, all 6 games were within 10 points, except for ours. We had the biggest blowout. The other trend I noticed is that the home team won all 6 games, except for our game. We're the Cinderella team left in the playoffs. We're the only wild card team left. Puma Whitlock won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I don't know how. I get nobody in our game deserved it, but you're telling me there was nobody in the Cowboys or the Vikings game who deserved it more? Puma's joined by Trevor Lawrence, Micah Parsons, and Jermaine Pratt as we take a look at the new postseason bracket. The 7 division winners are left, along with us. You'd think the winner of the best division in the league would still be around, but we had other plans. We're the underdog the rest of the way. I guess Minnesota kind of is too. They only won 10 games as well. But we're the really big underdog because we're the 7th seed. We are one of the first 7 seeds to ever win a game in the playoffs, period. Let's take a quick look at our opponents next week. The Falcons started the year up and down, but they have played really well since their bye week, only losing 1 game. We played against Atlanta earlier in the season at home. We lost 38-24. It's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year, but you got to assume the Falcons are the heavy favorite here. They are the number 1 seed. They're coming off a bye week, which their regular season bye week proved to be a major impact for them. They've got a ton of playmakers on offense, obviously headlined by Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. And Desmond Ritter's actually really good in this game. Similarly to the Niners, Atlanta has been a consistent playoff team throughout this series, but they haven't been able to get over the hump yet. The winner advances to the NFC Championship with the Cowboys or the Vikings awaiting. We'll be premiering the divisional round episode here on the channel likely this Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A big wild card win for the Dragons, beating San Francisco 24-9, and hopefully we can keep the Cinderella run going. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.